I truly believe you can't date, or you should not really date, if you're not financially stable. Anytime you go
I am 61 and found out that women just suck all your energy and in return, not the energy and joy we should like to find. There is nothing wrong with wanting a relationship. Just don't get married so you can leave if she gets too annoying.
So if a man can't afford the luxurious lifestyle, most men can't. Welcome to real life.
Another viewer said, I'm 64 and have been alone for the last 5 years. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I have built the perfect life. My life is so complete. Every woman approaches me. I never approach. I ask myself, will this relationship enrich my life? The answer is no. So the question is, do men over 60 really need women? Listen, if you're a man over 60 and someone's told you that you absolutely need a woman to feel complete, I'm about to completely destroy that myth. Because the reality is, the most compelling and attractive men in this age group share one powerful characteristic that has absolutely nothing to do with desperately seeking validation from anyone else. I've spent years observing what actually works for men navigating relationships after 60. And what I've discovered will challenge everything you've been conditioned to believe about dating and relationships at this stage of life. Whether you're single, divorced, widowed, or in a relationship that's lost its spark, this insight could transform how you approach your entire romantic life. Before we dive deeper, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to share some uncomfortable truths that most relationship advice completely ignores. And trust me, once you understand this fundamental shift in perspective, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Here's the devastating lie that society has been feeding you for decades: that your value as a man after 60 is somehow measured by whether you have a romantic partner standing beside you. That being single means you're somehow broken or incomplete. That if you're married but struggling, you should just accept whatever scraps of affection come your way. That if you're dating, you need to lock someone down immediately before time runs out. This poisonous mindset creates exactly the opposite result you're hoping for. It generates an energy of desperation that quality women can detect instantly, and frankly, it repels them faster than anything else you could possibly do. Think about it this way. You've lived 6 decades on this planet. You've survived challenges, built careers, raised families, weathered storms that would break younger men. You have wisdom, life experience, and hopefully some financial stability. So why on earth would you hand over your emotional well-being to someone else's approval? The men who are absolutely thriving after 60, whether they're happily single or in amazing relationships, all operate from what I call relationship independence. They've answered the fundamental question, do I need a woman, with a resounding no, but I might choose one. That distinction changes absolutely everything. When you operate from need, you're coming from scarcity. Every interaction becomes about proving your worth, seeking approval, trying to convince someone you're valuable. When you operate from choice, you're coming from abundance. You show up as your authentic self because you genuinely don't need a particular outcome. I knew a man named Michael, 63 years old, recently divorced after 30 years of marriage. He came to me completely broken, convinced he'd never find love again. Within 8 months of shifting his mindset from, I need someone to save me from loneliness, to I'm building an incredible life that someone might want to share, he had multiple women interested in him. The kicker? He chose to stay single for another year because he was genuinely enjoying his independence. This isn't about becoming cold or emotionally unavailable. It's about developing 3 specific pillars that make you magnetic regardless of your relationship status. First pillar, complete your own circle. Most men over 60 have this half-finished existence they're trying to get someone else to complete. They postpone travel plans, abandon hobbies, stop trying new things, all while waiting for the right person to appear. This is backwards thinking that guarantees failure. The magnetic men I know have built complete, fulfilling lives. They take cooking classes, travel solo, maintain morning routines, pursue interests, cultivate friendships. When they do date someone, that person isn't filling a void. They're adding richness to an already satisfying existence. Second pillar, develop outcome independence. This sounds counterintuitive, but you must become genuinely comfortable with any relationship outcome. If she wants to see you again, fantastic. If she doesn't, that's perfectly fine too. If your current relationship improves, wonderful. If it doesn't, you'll survive and thrive regardless. This isn't about not caring, it's about not being emotionally attached to results you cannot control. When you're outcome independent, you show up authentically instead of trying to manipulate situations through people-pleasing or desperation. Third pillar, understand the attraction paradox. Decades of relationship psychology research confirm this fascinating truth. When you genuinely don't need someone, you become infinitely more attractive to them. It works at every age, but it's especially powerful for men over 60. Consider what's more appealing. A man desperately trying to convince you he's worthy of your time, or a man who clearly has a rich, interesting life he's generous enough to share. The answer is obvious. I worked with David, 61, successful but lonely after his wife passed away. He was dating from this energy of please save me from myself, which generated zero attraction. Once he shifted to I'm creating an amazing life, want to see what that looks like, his results completely transformed. If you're currently married or in a long-term relationship, this applies even more critically. Nothing destroys long-term attraction faster than neediness and codependence. Your partner originally fell in love with a man who had his own identity, interests, and goals. If you've become someone who cannot function without constant validation, you've fundamentally altered the dynamic that created attraction initially. The most successful long-term relationships I observe involve 2 complete individuals who choose to share their lives while maintaining their separate identities. They don't lose themselves in the relationship. They bring their whole selves to it. Here's another harsh reality check. Society has programmed you to believe that being single after 60 represents some kind of failure, that you should be settling down for companionship during your golden years. This is complete nonsense. Some of the happiest, most fulfilled men I know over 60 are single by choice. They've experienced marriage. Maybe it worked temporarily. Maybe it didn't. But they've discovered something most men never realize: their happiness originates from within, not from someone else's presence. Interestingly, when these men do choose to date or enter relationships, they attract incredible partners because they're operating from abundance rather than desperation. So how do you develop this relationship independence? How do you shift from operating from need to operating from choice? Start with a completeness audit. Right now, make a list of everything you're postponing until you find the right person. Travel destinations, hobbies you've abandoned, social activities you've stopped because you lack a +1. This week, not next month. Pick one item from that list and do it alone. Prove to yourself that you don't need anyone's permission to live fully. Next, embrace the independence challenge. For 30 days, operate as if you're completely emotionally self-sufficient. If you're single, stop searching for someone to complete you. If you're in a relationship, stop requiring constant validation. This doesn't mean becoming distant, it means becoming secure in yourself. Finally, try the attraction reset. If you're dating or want to date, take a complete break from trying to attract anyone for 60 days. Focus entirely on becoming the most interesting, fulfilled version of yourself. Join clubs, take classes, start projects, build friendships with other men living compelling lives. When you re-enter the dating world, if you choose to, you'll be operating from completely different energy. The energy of choice, not need. I'm not suggesting you give up on love or relationships. What I'm telling you is to give up on desperation. Give up on the lie that your worth depends on someone else's presence in your life. Love is incredible. Relationships can be amazing, but they should be the cherry on top of an already delicious sundae, not the entire meal. When you operate from relationship independence, you make better choices. You don't settle for draining relationships because you fear being alone. You don't stay in situations that don't serve you because you think it's your only option. Remember, you're not too old to be magnetic. You're just operating from the wrong energy. Fix the energy, and everything else follows naturally.